How did we ever find cryptids and other paranatural beings before we started putting cameras on every street corner and inside everyone's pocket? If for nothing else, the surveillance state era has made it significantly easier to find weird footage of things running around in the dark. Take a look at this creepy footage posted to Reddit, appropriately enough on the Skinwalkers subreddit. Someone described it as a skinwalker caught on camera, but really it's just something weird, so it could be anything. Let's roll it. Pretty darn creepy, huh? At first glance, you'd be forgiven for thinking it's a dog or a demon monster or something, and it's only when you brave up and are willing to take another watch at it that you realize what you've been looking at is a human running on all fours perfectly like an animal. This is one of the freakiest things I have seen in a good while, and I literally exclusively watch scary content online all day for my job. This actually made me recoil. I've never seen a human being move like that. Well, allegedly a human, that's why we're including it in this video. Could this be a human? Or is this another being altogether? Some powerful shapeshifter caught mid-transformation? Or is this just someone who had a really long night and is on one or all of the substances? Now, I did my best to try and find what I could about this bizarre encounter, did a little digging. A few commenters on the original thread mentioned that this particular instance is more well known in Mexico, with locals saying she's known as the dog woman, and others saying that this is a well-known person who suffers from a degenerative syndrome called Uncut syndrome. That's a gene disorder that can cause affected individuals to walk on all fours. I only did about 15 seconds of research of that, so don't trust me too much. If we have any viewers in Mexico who can illuminate us a little bit and who know about this particular woman, please sound off in the comments. We would love to know. But until then, we just have to speculate, so let me know what you think. And if you're looking for way more creepy clips of strange ghosts and unexplained things on security cameras, oh, we have got so much of that and then some. Make sure you hit subscribe, please ring that little bell so you don't miss a single video of ours, but do that at the end of this video, okay? Because I got way more strange things caught on camera for you. Number 4, security guard. Our next clip up today was also posted to Reddit and is a delightfully strange one. It's CCTV footage of a security guard working in Buenos Aires at a hospital late at night around 3 a.m. Now traditionally that is thought of as the witching hour, but you know, no big deal or anything. Anyway, let's take a quick little look at the clip and see what we can see. We can see the security guard get up from his desk, clipboard in hand, opening the bell, even going so far as bringing in a wheelchair for a guest who doesn't appear to exist. Watch this clip as many times as you'd like, you'll never see who he's letting in because they just don't seem to exist at all. It's unsettling. Now let's take a look at this. The Scully approach is that this could just be the musings of a very bored security guard who's working the graveyard shift at a hospital doing anything to make himself entertained. I've worked long night shifts by myself. I would do anything to pass the time. I do weird stuff when nobody's looking, so I totally get it. Now the Mulder approach, and that's why we're here, because we're ready to believe, is that this could be any number of supernatural things. A ghost? Some sort of demonic entity possessing the security guard and making him open the door. The way the guard does it all so routinely, as if he doesn't even realize something is so wrong, is unsettling. I think that's the word for it. There's something unsettling about this clip that's hard to describe. The clip went fairly viral for its bizarre nature, and the hospital clarified that the guard never registered a patient to enter. So either it was a prank or the demon just didn't give him enough information and just waltzed on in. Let me know what you all think. Is this a bored prankster or something supernatural sneaking on into our world? Number 3, the Ghost Hotel. Our next clip coming up is, well, it's this one that's made the rounds lots over the internet and the more paranormal, spookier sides of things. You'll be able to see why fairly easy, as this clip is baffling and one of the more compelling pieces of paranormal activity caught on camera that I have seen in at least the last 3 to 4 minutes. The clip was submitted by the hotel security manager of the Wingate Hotel in Illinois. According to the manager, guests staying at the hotel were complaining about strange happenings going on the second floor. These guests were reporting everything from noise complaints, scratching, changes in temperature, loud disruptions like banging on the walls, scratching, and loud screaming, all particularly emanating from room 209. There was no history of anything suspicious happening in room 209 until this incident, you know? No whole family got killed or something, not a history of demons in there. This is the footage that was recorded of the security guard sent to deal with what was happening in room 209. The dispatcher sounds scared, telling the guard to wait for the police to arrive before entering the dreaded 209. After a brief entrance, the guard returns visibly shaken by what he'd seen. He demands they call the police immediately, and that while there was no one inside room 209, all of the furniture had been flipped upside down and stacked. I've got to say, it's always very refreshing when you watch a paranormal clip like this or something, and someone reacts normally, which is to say, getting the heck out of the building. Number 2, the ghost alarm. We got ourselves another clip from the ghost subreddit. Hey, what can I say? If you want to look at ghosts, it's a pretty good place to go. There's quite a lot of ghosts already there. This one was posted to us from user Reman8 with the caption, "Something set off the security footage on one of our properties. Nothing was stolen. This is the footage." We'll play it for you now. Pop those peepers wide on open. You're gonna need to look real closely for this, okay? Take a look at this spine-tingling footage. Did you see it? This is one of those ones I had to watch twice before it popped out at me, and then I nearly leapt out of my chair. So don't feel bad if you need to scoot back 30 seconds to try and catch that one again. It's very, very slight. At first glance, it might seem like nothing is there, but when you really pay attention, you can see the faintest silhouette of a figure creeping through in the background, seemingly walking through thin air, barely able to make it out. I know logically this is probably just a camera glitch or something, but that ghostly outline of a person is enough to send a shiver up and down my back. The poster claims that the front door to the property was opened, and that's what triggered the security footage. Well, who could have done that if not for this malevolent spirit? One commenter suggested it was possible that energy dispelled by the ghost could have been what set off the alarm and opened the door, and that's why it looks so spectral and ethereal on the footage, just a sort of like translucent shimmering figure shape. What do you think, internet comment hive mind? Is this some real proof of something from another world walking into ours, or is this just some dust and light hitting the camera weird and our eyes are filling in the details we wish we were seeing? Please do let us know down below. I did a little digging on it myself, and the Redditor returned to the same thread after a whole year and reported that nothing else like this had ever happened in that year, and that he hadn't found any evidence of spirits in the local area or anything strange happening in the house before they moved in. So maybe it was just a one-off haunting, but still, one haunting is more than enough for me. Very, very unnerving. And number 1, the ghost office. Coming in at the final spot for today on horrible spectral encounters caught on camera is this creepy footage from a Manchester office. Now, yeah, an office, that's already kind of creepy and liminal enough and scary, but that's not what we're talking about. The footage is the actual footage security guards were flicking through on the early hours of November 1st. It looks like a regular old office, if not a bit drab, but then the Skinamarink style horror starts to turn from regular boring security detail to full-blown horror movie at one key moment. At 3 a.m., wouldn't you notice? The witching hour. Things start to get weird. All the computers in the office flicker on at the exact same time. All the chairs start to get thrown around. Cabinets opening when they shouldn't. Objects rattling off as if a massive spiritual disturbance is happening. Now, it's more than just a little bit too perfect that all of this supernatural stuff happened at 3 a.m., which is sometimes referred to as the witching hour, for the belief that it's the time of the day when the veil between the spirit world and our world is weakest, and spirits are free to cross on over to wreak a little havoc in ours. I've got to say, if this is faked somehow, this is a superbly impressive fake with an impressive amount of effort put into it. More effort than I've seen in most horror movies, and a good budget. Whoever was faking this had dedication, time, and a really good sense of atmosphere. But at the same time, it's so perfect a clip. I don't know. I have to ask myself if it's real. Would ghosts really be so punctual to arrive at 3 exactly? Would a ghost even need to get somewhere on time? You've got all the time in the world. And if I had all the time of the afterlife, I certainly wouldn't be rushing towards an office. I get enough office time in my regular life.
Number 5 on this list is the Michigan Dogman. The Michigan Dogman is a scary urban legend of a creature from, yeah, you guessed it, Michigan. It is a massive 7-foot tall beast that stands on 2 legs and looks a bit like a canine, however it's got the torso of a man. One thing that's very notable about this fearsome creature is its extremely loud human scream that it lets out before it's coming to strike. The first sighting of it was back in 1887, and since then there's been many more sightings, all in different regions of Michigan. What's interesting about this creature though is that you won't need to worry about running into it for at least a few more years. I can guarantee that you don't want to be walking around the forest and having this thing appear in front of you, but the good thing is that you don't need to worry about that until 2027. It's believed that this creature only appears in years that end with 7. During that year, it will be out and about in the forests of Michigan, hunting and preying on the victims that it finds. But whenever it isn't a year that ends in 7, it's in a deep slumber hidden somewhere in the state. If this thing was awake all the time, it very easily could be higher on this list because of how terrifying and deadly it can be. But because it's usually asleep, I'm not having it so high up. That being said though, still be careful if you're in a Michigan forest regardless of the year, because I can only imagine that accidentally waking this thing up would probably be very bad for everybody involved. Number 4 on this list is the Amazonian giant centipede. Centipedes are gross, guys. In fact, the only thing that might be grosser than a centipede is a millipede. The centipede that we're looking at today is a very real animal that isn't just gross, but it's flat out scary and dangerous. World Atlas says the Peruvian giant yellow-legged centipede, or the Amazonian giant centipede, is one of the largest centipede species in the world. The creature's about 30 centimeters long and preys on a large variety of animals. Interestingly, the centipede's diet is based not only on other invertebrates, but it can also overpower and kill creatures larger than it in size like lizards, snakes, frogs, mice, bats, and sparrow-sized birds. The centipede's primary weapons for killing prey are a pair of modified legs. The centipede uses these legs to penetrate the body of the victim and inject a highly toxic venom into their bloodstream. The killer creature can even climb the ceilings of caves where they can hold and manipulate their prey like bats with only a few legs attached to the ceiling. A 4-year-old human child was reported to have been killed by the centipede venoms before. So not only can this scary arthropod kill people with its venom, but it's super difficult to fight. That's because it's extremely fast, guys. Having 100 legs means that you can move pretty quickly, and this thing definitely does. It can move up to 3 feet per second, which is really fast considering its size. Also, the nature of its body means that it can crawl into super small crevices that you might not see. The child who died from its venom actually happened to run into this thing in an empty soda can. The kid picked up the can not realizing what was inside, and then the centipede struck. Running into this thing in the forest, or honestly anywhere, would be really horrible. If you see an Amazonian giant centipede, then just walk the other direction. Number 3 on this list is the Skinwalkers. Skinwalkers, as described by All That's Interesting, are animalistic humanoid creatures chronicled in the centuries-old folklore of various Native American tribes of the United States Southwest, most notably the Navajo, Pueblo, Apache, and Hopis people. It is one of many shape-shifting monsters from Native American legends. Skinwalkers are typically described with a beastly and deformed body, a marred, albeit humanoid face, and blazing orange-red eyes. But the origins of these creatures vary among tribal cultures. Some traditions say Skinwalkers are powerful medicine men who succumb to the temptation of using their abilities for evil. Other traditions claim that the Skinwalkers are the punitive form of any man, woman, or child who commits a deep sin. In any case, the myth of the Skinwalkers is well known among indigenous communities. These Native American monsters are described as incredibly powerful and nearly immortal. They can only be killed with a bullet or knife dipped in white ash, a bit reminiscent of a shapeshifter from popular culture, the werewolf, and its weakness to silver bullets. Shape-shifting animal human beasts who are extremely difficult to kill and super athletic. These things are very dangerous and not a species that you want to mess with. Typically residing in the forested areas of northern United States and Canada, they often travel in groups, which just kind of adds to how absolutely dead you are if you do happen across some. Be very careful of the Skinwalkers if you're trekking through some North American forests. Number 2 on this list is an electric eel. So you won't be finding an electric eel in any northern forests like Canada, where I live, which is honestly pretty good for me. But if you live in the Amazon and happen to be going through an Amazon forest, then it's very likely this creature will be in the rivers right next to you. Definitely do not go for a dip in those rivers though, because the electric eel might be waiting for you. World Atlas says a shocking danger lurks beneath the waters of Amazon River in Brazil. The electric eel is not a true eel, but actually a knife fish capable of delivering a massive electric shock to those who threaten it. 3 pairs of abdominal organs of the fish allow it to generate electricity enough to stun an adult human being. The eels use their electricity generating capacity to stun prey before consuming them. Fatal attacks on humans are rare, but not completely non-existent. A single jolt could stun a human being enough to cause the person to stop breathing and drown even in shallow water. Multiple shocks could definitely trigger respiratory failure in humans. In the past, there are cases where the fish have delivered shocks strong enough to kill horses and even stun an adult caiman. If this fish can literally kill a horse, then we don't stand a chance, folks. There also literally isn't anything you can do about this thing other than just get out of the water. Like, it might be able to shock you without even touching you, so you might not even know that you're in danger. These things are also super gross looking and just not appealing as an animal at all. Super cool that they have electrical abilities, but not super cool if they use those abilities on me or you. And number 1 on this list is the Cherokee Horned Serpent. This is another Native American legend similar to the Skinwalkers, but this one is arguably far more dangerous. Another name for the Cherokee Horned Serpent is Yuptina. The Yuptina was, as you might imagine, a legend that originated from the Cherokee tribe in western North Carolina. James Mooney, somebody who actually studied the Cherokee tribe, wrote about this beast in a book he published back in 1992. He wrote, "Those who know say that the Yuptina is a great snake as large around as a tree trunk with horns on its head and a bright blazing crest with a diamond upon its forehead and scales glittering like sparks of fire. The blazing diamond is called Yolonsoti, transparent, and he who can win it may become the greatest wonder worker of the tribe. Still, it is worth a man's life to attempt it, for whoever is seen by the Yuptina is so dazed by the bright light that he runs toward the snake instead of trying to escape. This diamond is so dazzling that it's going to draw you in, and it's very problematic. You are going to lose if you fight this creature. It is just so strong and so powerful that unless you're literally an Avenger, you're just simply not going to stand a chance. It's said that these beasts are born out of envy and jealousy and come from the underworld. Massive serpents with incredible powers that literally come from hell. These things might just be lurking around the forests near you, hugging onto a tree and waiting for somebody to come and try to take the diamond in their forehead. There are rumors that one warrior was actually able to defeat these beasts at some point, but that is honestly just a rumor and never been confirmed. Be very, very careful if you're walking around a North American forest by yourself, and if you see a diamond, just run.
Number 5, the deer. Coming up first today on our list of Skinwalker footage that has everybody double checking the family pets and other assorted wildlife to make sure they haven't been replaced with any sinister shape-shifting shamans, is this little clip from TikTok of a member of the Curvidae family acting real bizarre. It's a fancy word for deer. I want to make sure you learn something every day. Roll the clip. Now, someone is out in the woods late at night hunting by themselves, which if any horror movie has ever taught me anything at all, not a good idea. I mean, they clearly know it's not a good idea either, since the caption of the video is "always hunt with others, something isn't right with this deer," and that much is obvious. The deer is staring into the camera with empty eyes. It's got that total deer in the headlights look, probably because it's a deer in the headlights. Is that where that saying comes from? You'd think the buck might be scared of the car pulled in front of it or the people filming, but instead it just seems to stare back with that empty-eyed stare. Now, when it turns its head, we can see the thing's bottom jaw hanging open, limp, as if it's barely being held together by decaying tissues or if the deer's reanimated like a zombie. Now, This could be a shape-shifting shaman of Dene folklore, or a little bit more likely, and you know I like to play the skeptic, it could be a deer suffering from a horrible disease called epizootic hemorrhagic, which occurs when a deer is bitten by a midge, that's a disgusting little mosquito-like bug carrying the virus, which wreaks all sorts of havoc to the deer's neurological systems, causing it to act abnormally and very scary, and I would wager that most footage you find online of a deer acting strange could be traced back to this. Another common symptom of EHD is the deer's tongue swelling to uncomfortable sizes, which would leave its maw agape and sort of give off that terrifying look of the deer's jaw sort of like hanging around by a thread there. Now, EHD isn't considered a risk to humans, so you don't have to worry about it too much, but if you were a deer watching this video right now, oh buddy, if you were a deer, I'd tell you to be careful, okay? It's midge season, and you don't want your legacy as a deer to be ending up in one of these videos. And if you're looking for more videos of all sorts of bizarre things that no one can explain, well, that's what Top 5 Scary trades in spades. We've got so much of that. We got aliens, ghouls, cryptids, goblins galore, anything freaky you can think of, we've got 2 to 4 videos on it. So hit subscribe, please make sure you ring that little bell as well so you're not missing a single beat, but do that at the end of this video if you wouldn't mind so much, because I got 4 more clips of weird skinwalker things around the net that I would just love to show you. Number 4. Wade Lanagan. Coming up next is going to be this video that was posted to TikTok by users Wade Lanagan, showing a pretty horrifying suburban little scene. Something that I found kind of interesting whenever I do these videos, I do research, is that a lot of mythology and folk tales about skinwalkers sort of incorporate how bad they want to worm their way into your house. Makes sense, that's where you live, I guess, and they want to get at you. Now, obviously, you should do just about whatever it takes to prevent this from happening. In this clip, we see exactly that in practice. A young mother and her child are at home when they're apprehended by someone, or perhaps more accurately, something. Something that's slamming at the door. Now, in this clip, it certainly looks like a person, but it screeches like a monster out of your worst nightmare. So some sort of ear-scratching scream that shouldn't be coming out of any living thing. And it seems to be covered in some sort of red liquid, although maybe it's just me, but it does look a little bit like Cheeto dust. I'm not saying a skinwalker can't eat a little flaming hot Cheeto now and again. I don't really know what they eat, actually. I've always assumed they eat man, but maybe they're omnivorous and like a snack here and there. The strange being runs off, but before the mother and child can catch their breath, we hear that same familiar knocking slamming away on the door, and the video cuts out. But if you really like that video, don't worry, I'm not gonna post for Top 5 twice, and you wanted to see more and more about the family, going onto their TikTok account reveals a 4-part series of videos chronicling their tracking of a possible skinwalker and their eventual pursuit by one. Now these clips, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you, these are definitely just a home production, but I wanted to put them up because I thought they were fun, you know? I talk about horror movies on the channel all the time, and what is a TikTok if not a very short horror movie for people who've got places to be? I've got nothing but love for anyone making horror content at home, so if you were interested in this and you liked it, give the channel a check out. Wade Lanagan, they got lots more spooky paranormal stuff on TikTok for you to enjoy. Number 3, do you believe? Coming in next today is going to be this clip that was posted to TikTok by a user by the name of Do You Believe? Do you believe? We do. That's exactly why we're here today, baby. We believe. Now, this video takes place in the pitch black of night, looking in someone's backyard as someone is staring into the eyes of what looks like a neighborhood dog. But if you've learned anything from this video so far, it's that looks can be fairly deceiving. The dog isn't the uploaders, as they don't recognize the animal and they're a bit unnerved by Fido coming forward towards them. The eyes seem to be staring deep through the internet and directly into my soul just a little bit. The dog keeps approaching slowly before finally jumping out at the person recording the video, and also coincidentally sending me recoiling about 5 feet back from my screen and my phone flying across the room. No relation though. Now, this clip definitely had people talking though, with just as many people suggesting that it could just be a dog doing what a dog does and being kind of silly in a backyard. I could certainly see that. Dogs are known to be silly, but this dog is definitely creepy. I don't know if they taught this dog to behave like this, but the way it stalks has me scratching my head just a little bit. Now, there are some commenters on this video who say that they find this video cuter than they do scary, which is definitely fair. It is a cute dog, if not a scary one. So as always, whenever there's a bit of unknown in the air, there's a little room for discussion and speculation, I toss it over to you, my faithful YouTube commenter gang. Is this just a regular old Labrador with its eyes hitting the camera just right? Or is there something about this old dog that ain't what it seems? Could this be a bit of a Cujo situation? Does this thing know any new tricks like shape-shifting? Number 2, creepy reel. Coming up next is going to be this clip that was posted to TikTok by the user Creepy Reel. Creepy Reel. Well, I do videos that are real creepy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh no, please, I'm here all week. That pun is what my degree paid for. Reading is not what my degree paid for. I didn't go to school for book learning, I went to school for talking. Now this next video is short and sweet. We see someone getting chased by something. We don't really get too good a look, but honestly that could be a mercy. What we can see is that the person chasing our cameraman seems to be human, but not doing a perfect job of it. The caption calls it a human disguised as a skinwalker. Now, I found something kind of interesting about this video. I thought it was pretty creepy, gave me the heebie-jeebies, but as I was going through the comments on this one, I noticed that every third comment was someone saying this isn't a skinwalker, but rather a djinn. In fact, seriously, if you look at the link, almost every comment is alleging this, as if this is a very known practice and we're all fools for making the mistake. So I did a little digging and I thought I'd share what I learned. Jinn are thought to be spirits, creatures that are thought to originate from Islamic folktales. They are considered to be invisible creatures, but can take the form of humans as well as various animals, predominantly slimy things like snakes. They're pretty similar to skinwalkers, all things considered, but while a skinwalker is a shape-shifting shaman cast off from Dene society, a jinn was born into the world of spirit. Interestingly too, jinn are thought to neither be evil or good, but just rather are, and each are their own unique entity with their own desires and drives. It's thought that you can only see a jinn if they want you to see them, so if this creature really is a jinn chasing our cameraman, well, there must be some reason for it. Of course, the possible reason for it is that it is TikTok, and downright likely that this is someone trying to get a few clicks on TikTok, or just something scary that happened and made for some great views. Regardless, made my hair stand on end a little bit. I hope it freaked you out ever so slightly too. And if you know a little bit more about jinns and the difference between jinns and skinwalkers, please share some of that information with the casual crypt keeper. I love to learn, and you all are a great source of information for me. And number 1, wilderness survival. Coming in at this number 1 spot is this very strange clip that was uploaded. Let me tell you, if you're looking for weirdness on the internet, yeah, Top 5 Scary is an amazing place. I do some great work finding it for you, but TikTok really is the place to be. It's the strangest black hole on the internet for a reason. This clip was going around the front page recently, and it's not hard to see why. In it, we can see what looks like a fairly dated old analog VHS footage of what I can make out as some countryside. I'm not sure where though. I'm not a geo-guesser guy. The sights of the American countryside sure would be beautiful if it weren't for the gut-wrenching screaming that you can hear in the background as someone is begging and pleading for anyone, please, anyone to come help. But as the camera pans and zooms, there doesn't seem to be anyone around for miles except for whoever is filming and a single mysterious person standing alone in a field, completely ignorant to it all, as if they don't even hear it. In fact, the person standing there doesn't seem to really even be there, you know what I mean? Sort of gently swaying in the breeze like a scarecrow. Could it be that this is a skinwalker and the sounds we hear are the last panicked screams it heard from one of its victims? It's considered a trait of skinwalkers that not only are they able to take on the form of any animal or human that they wish, but they're also able to mimic other humans' speech or animal cries with perfect clarity. And that pain in the person's screams are super creepy. And if you thought this clip was super duper creepy, I've got fantastic news for you. This clip was an excerpt from Gemini Home Entertainment, a fantastic series of online internet horror videos presented as an anthology of old VHS tapes, much like the super successful VHS film series, if you know those. This one is from the one titled Wilderness Survival Guide, and it's honestly one of the better ones in the series. I would super recommend it. Definitely if you like any of this sort of stuff, like analog horror, skinwalkers, crediting artists, any of that stuff, give it a watch.